Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tech ChitChat Show. This is episode 24, and we are going to be chatting about the new Analogue Pocket that is coming out. And Steven, you are blurry.
I am blurry. Let me see if I can get this thing. Just maybe it's a little better. Anyways, I'm not sure what's up.
We'll let you fix that, and we'll just chat while you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be chatting about the Analogue Pocket, which was released kind of today, which is a new retro video gaming handheld console. And we'll be into that shortly. I see we have a comment already. Ben G. Hey. Well, hey to you as well. We appreciate you joining us today. So we're going to roll right into that into a moment. But we'll start off with the nitty gritty. I want to thank all those 10 or 11 people who subscribed to us this week. We appreciate you all, because we just got another one while Steven was getting his coffee.
Fixing my camera here.
And fixing his camera. You are clear now.
Yay!
But yeah, thank you to all of you. As if you don't know already, we are going to be upgrading to 1080p streaming when we hit 100 subscribers. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we would love to have you join our Tech ChitChat family. Come join us for some coffee. And
we're family now?
Well, you and I are. We're related.
Yeah, we're family.
Cheers.
Cheers.
They're our Tech ChitChat family.
We get pretty close pretty quick.
Yes. So how are you doing this morning, Steven?
Doing okay. A bit
now that you're clear.
Bit last minute, trying to get sorted here with some things, but you know what? Now I'm doing okay now. So
that's good. Did you get snow?
Oh, no snow here. Just more rain, I think. So
we got that much snow.
Huh.
So
yeah, good stuff.
Other than that, I'm doing excellent. It's a Tuesday morning, and it's not Monday anymore.
There's no garbage truck outside making noises this morning, or?
Oh, they're coming. It's Tuesday morning every week. Garbage truck, and it's recycle this week. So
good stuff.
But so let's dive into the Analogue Pocket.
Yes.
All right. So the Analogue Pocket, the long-awaited Analogue Pocket, is released.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do a brief overview before we dive into the article, Stephen, of what the Analogue Pocket is?
I find it exciting. I just say that. It is
pretty cool.
For multiple reasons. The multiple pocket, the Analogue Pocket is cool. The Analogue Pocket allows you to bring back the original Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, the original cartridges, put them into the device, and it actually will play them like an original Game Boy. Even trying to different screen modes that will simulate the original Game Boy, different Game Boy screens, like the original green, like that green kind of one, right? And then the Game Boy Light with the for multiple reasons, this is hitting the right buttons and the right things, and it's like retro gaming with modern tech coming together in just the right balance. So. Can you bring up
it's exciting for sure.
Can you bring up a picture of it here?
I will bring up the article right away here. So this is the Analogue Pocket. People have been waiting quite a while for this. So it can play out of the box. It can play Game Boy games, original Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah.
And it was revealed to the world back in October of 2019, so just over 2 years ago, and they're finally shipping, and you can get your name on or pre-order more of them today. So I think if you've already pre-ordered one, they're shipping them from my understanding, and you can pre-order more, which will be shipping soon. Mm-hmm. It comes in a couple of different colors. Very similar in look to the original Game Boy. The shape of it.
Yeah, they seem to have tried to get similar to size, which is probably on purpose.
Yeah,
a little bit, and it's like a good fit. And I think in this article they might have mentioned that, or another one, that it was like a little bit bigger than other modern like mobile gaming devices like this, but the size actually is nice. It's nice to have.
Yeah, no, for
small.
sure. And here's actually a picture of it on top of an old original Game Boy. I should have pulled mine out. I know I have one or two of those kicking around, the original Game Boys here.
Yeah, I believe you do.
But yeah, good old Tetris. We need to bring that out once in a while.
See, that's what's cool about this Analog Pocket is you can go get your original Tetris. I can't speak this morning. Tetris cartridge,
Yeah.
and you can throw it into this thing and it'll work.
Yes.
And what's really cool is that this is not emulation. So a lot
It's
of the
actually playing the cartridge. We should be clear about that.
yeah. So a lot of modern stuff is using like even the Nintendo. What was the Nintendo NES Super Nintendo collection that they did? PS1 did a PS1 classic. Those like retro things they bring back with the game collections.
Okay.
Those use emulation. So this is not using emulation.
Yeah.
This is using a totally different kind of technology that
is actually playing the cartridge.
Actually playing the cartridge and actually very close to like the original hardware to how it's designed, which I want to go into more later. But
sure.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool. Like so here, as for the screen, it was saying it's a 3.5-inch LCD screen with 1600 by 1440 pixels, whereas the old Game Boy screen just had 2340 pixels. So this has 2.304 million pixels. So a big screen resolution difference.
That's exciting. First, Ben said he sadly missed the first round of pre-orders.
Oh,
but he finally able to get one today. Very cool.
Ben G. I sadly missed the first round of pre-orders due to my bank blocking the transaction, but I finally was able to secure one today. Awesome. That's awesome. We'd love to hear, actually, Ben, when you get that, maybe come back here and leave a comment in the comment section so people can see how long it took for them to get it, and just a quick what your initial thoughts are on the unit when you get it, because that's when you made your order, did it tell you how long to expect to wait? You can write that back to us here right now if you do know. But so there's definitely some cool stuff here.
And now, I want to say,
I think what you were talking about.
Yes.
Sorry. Is you can actually pick from different color modes as well to emulate what it looked like back in the day.
So these are simulating. These are like hard. So these are not, in the article they mentioned, these are not filters. These are actually like baked into the device, I think, of how like these 4 modes are simulating the original. I think the top left one is the default for Analogue Pocket, but the one at the top right is like the original Game Boy screen. Looks very familiar, right?
Yeah.
And the bottom left, I think, was for the Game Boy Light that had like an indigo kind of backlight. And the bottom right, I can't remember, but maybe it was the Game Boy, the smaller one. I can't remember, but yeah.
Now, I feel like I have that game somewhere. That's the Super Mario Brothers Game Boy, or I can't remember.
Yeah.
Mario Land, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Super Mario Land for Game Boy. Yeah. Now I want to start digging for that. That's kind of nostalgic.
I think you should get an Analogue Pocket. I think you should order one and bring out some of the old games. And
I'll think about that.
I want to come over
in my stocking. Put it in my stocking.
Well, it's not a cheap stocking because it is $219 US. So
true. We will get into that.
Oh, okay. Before we move on about the screen, what's really cool is you mentioned that it is a high resolution screen. 1600 by 1440 is high. So what they've done is, I really like the technique that they've done. This is what and I think Nintendo did this with their Wii U games and the Switch games. They blow it up to a really high resolution, and then I'm trying to, kind of similar to so basically they're using the super high resolution to simulate really sharp pixels. So and then they can apply some it's just a really good technique. Using a high resolution screen to replicate lower resolution. You don't get a blurry mess and stuff if you do it right. If you handle it properly, you can get a really good effect. And they've done it. Like they even simulate the original Game Boy's like grid cell based look. If you look closely at the image, the Game Boy can kind of see cell grid lines. And they actually have that showing up in on this device as well. So it looks very, very close to the original hardware.
Okay.
So it's very impressive.
So back to Ben here, our big fan today, Ben. They said within a few days they're going to send an email on what group you get put into. So that's good information.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's saying the first round of pre-orders today, releases Q1 of 2022. So
no stocking stuffer for this year.
no stocking stuffer. So unless you delay your Christmas,
That's true.
in which all your children, if you have any, will be crying. Sorry, kids, we're doing Christmas on January 28th.
Daddy's waiting for his Analogue Pocket. Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's keep strolling here. There's some more kind of images of what it looks like. And then, so you can get into Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. I have a lot of favorites. I love the Game Boy Advance. That was a fun
me too.
Fun little system. I had the Advance, but then I also had the SP, and I really enjoyed the okay, you're gonna be like, well, why did you play that on a handheld? I've always loved Super Mario 3, and they had Super Mario 3 on the Game Boy Advance, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So that's always,
especially the SP was the clamshell one, right? It had the backlight.
Yeah, came in all different colors, blue, purple, pink, and you could open it and close it.
I think that's like the peak.
And it had a rechargeable battery, not like I remember you had the Game Boy Advance where you first took AA batteries, or you could buy rechargeable like Duracells or whatever and put them in there.
Yeah, no, that clamshell one, even it can still be pricey to get those today now. I think they're not. You won't find them for like $10-$20. They actually have a good value to them still. They're nice. I actually kind of want one again, but
yeah.
But now the Analogue Pocket might take over that need for a Game Boy Advance. I mean, the SP.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I should mention is you can buy different adapters as well. So not only will it play Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games out of the box, but you can buy little adapters that allow it to play Game Gear games, Neo Geo Pocket Color games, and Atari Lynx games as well. And then I think it also says and more. So I don't know if that's something that's out already or if that's going to be coming.
Mm-hmm.
The design looks cool. It looks really sleek and modern looking.
It does.
They've got volume buttons on the side. So there's a look at where the cartridge goes in on the back.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I can see, it looks like there's shoulder buttons there as well, which would mimic the ones that were on the Game Boy Advance, I believe.
Yeah, right.
Or the SP had them, I believe, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Advance and SP.
So Mario Tennis. And then there's some ports on the bottom. Now, I believe there is a micro SD card slot, if I remember reading in here, but it's currently not for
emulation,
anything other than firmware upgrades.
Yeah.
But they said potentially for saving games in the future. So
so they've made a point of they're not supporting emulation. This is not what this does. So like that SD card does not, you can't sideload it with ROMs and stuff. That's just not how it works. I mean, it doesn't mean there won't be some way someone will find a way to do it, but that they're designing this for original cartridges, original software, and it's cool. It even supports like the link cable, so you can like link up between multiple pockets and play multiplayer Game Boy games too. They have that working. I'm not sure. I feel like I was trying to read it. It sounds like it may support the original link cable or the one that they sell you. Like it's kind of interesting. I was trying to. Yeah. I'm not totally sure, but it might support the original Game Boy cables even up to a certain generation. Yeah. This just hits the right points.
And cool. It's really cool, especially if you're into that retro gaming. I know. So where you live in the Greater Vancouver area, one of our favorite video game stores is in that area. And when I drive the 4 hours down to your house, we always hit that store up, and it's full of old. You could get Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color games there. So
you can still just to kind of describe this place, you can still rent DVDs there too. It's the last video rental store in this area. So shout out to Willow Video.
Yes, shout out to Willow Video. If you're in the Vancouver area, you go check them out. So I want to pop this question up, Stephen, and then we'll keep going here.
Yeah.
says, well, apparently there's going to be support for people making their own cores, which will then be loaded off the SD card, and apparently you can load ROMs from SD cards on other analog systems too. This Pansu has heard. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So
And
what's that?
there's a second message here, and yes, you are supposed to be able to use the original link cables. So
That's cool.
any thoughts on that there, Stephen?
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised that the SD card could be used for emulation. It just sounds like the team making Analogue Pocket just isn't officially supporting it like out of the box. It's not. So yeah, it seems to make sense that people can make use of it and do that. Yeah, you mentioned the people making their own cores. Yeah, so from my understanding, it has the Analogue Pocket even has like two what were they called, FPGA processors, FPGAs. And
I don't recall, so we'll call them ABC 123s.
yeah, the FPGA. So, and this is kind of like
yeah.
beyond, this is beyond my area of knowledge, but I find it fascinating, even just dipping into it, being like, FPGAs are cool. So apparently this has two FPGA cores, and one of them, they're allowing third parties to like use the second core to do more stuff with it. Like you can kind of program these cores or something. Like it's really interesting technology. And yeah, Panzu, I'm excited. There's great comments. I'm excited to see what they do with this. Like, yeah, again, the FPGA stuff, I want to do more research on it, and I kind of want to look into it. It's kind of, but it's also when I was, yeah. Anyways, I could go further into that, but I'll stop. But because that would get into just way too technical.
Sure. Let's dive over to their website here and have a quick look. So it does say pre-order December 14th, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is today, and that was 2 hours and 17 minutes ago. So you can pre-order them on there. If you go into the Pocket here, gives you a nice quick close-up of what it looks like. That is a sleek looking unit for sure.
Yeah.
And if you click on pre-order, currently you can pre-order them. It is available to add to cart. You have a black one and a white one. Now, originally, I think you'd mentioned this already before, they originally were, I believe, $199 US.
$219.
Or sorry, they were originally $199.
Oh, they
and
were.
They had to bump the price up to $219.99, I believe, because of all the costs of all the chip shortages and everything going on like that. So
yeah,
just reading some of these comments here. Keep the game well.
Yeah, so Panzu's mentioning about the 4 face buttons because like the Game Boy doesn't need 4 face buttons.
No.
And so there's support for other things. And so Panzu's mentioning even there could be SNES support added to it later even, and then it would be able to use the more buttons and the so it's just really cool. And I like how they didn't mark the buttons. I like that they're just blank personally.
Yeah.
That might catch some people off guard, but it's just better to have that when you have multiple consoles being.
Well, you could actually, if people don't know, you could have it come up on the screen as the console loads up or the game loads up what the buttons are. Yep. Like you could have a little pre thing that pops up showing what the buttons are. Or so I think that would be cool if it did eventually have SNES support.
Yeah, it would be. Which is. No, go ahead.
You'd have to have some kind of bigger console with a cable. I don't imagine there would be an add-on that you just snap on the back that holds a SNES.
It would be more suited for. Yeah, I know. It would be more suited for like the dock mode or something though, which is we haven't mentioned. There's also the dock that you can purchase, which I believe is $99, which is an add-on. Okay. Then you dock it into it. Again, just looks really sleek. Docks in and gets exported to your TV nicely, and apparently even supports CRT televisions as well. You can do that.
So is that this analog dock here on the screen?
Yes,
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So there are all sorts of accessories here: pocket hard case, screen protectors, fast charging, and then here's the adapters we were talking about earlier. So Game Gear adapter, Neo Geo Pocket Color adapter, Atari Lynx adapter, and the TurboGrafx 16 adapter.
Yeah.
And then all sorts of cables as well. I do want to ask you, Ben G, you're asking what color did people get? What color did you get? Maybe drop that down there in the comments as well. I'd love to know if it was white or black.
Yeah.
Now, there is a frequently asked question area here that we also wanted to cover. So let's have a look at that. So when will the Analog Pocket be released? So December 13th, 2021, which was yesterday. I believe that is for people who had already pre-ordered them. They're already started shipping them from my understanding. Ben G went with black, so that's awesome.
Sleek.
It's always a hard decision. I know. I just bought the Switch OLED, and I had to choose between the original colors and the white.
I have a hard time
the
going for the
original
white.
colors.
I have a hard time hiding the dirt. And
That's what I thought too.
yeah.
So some of the interesting frequently asked questions: Can Pocket play copyright ROM files from the SD card slot? No, it is designed to play copyright ROM files from the. Okay, I just botched that. No, Pocket is not designed to play copyright ROM files from the SD card slot. Pocket is designed to play original legacy game cartridges from the cartridge slot. So
again, it doesn't mean that
that.
people. I don't know that as Panzu mentioned, it seems like people already have a way to do it, but that's not what they've designed it for. That's not at least the intent of the company here.
Yeah. So the battery life, 6 to 10 hours of gameplay time, a 4,300 milliamp hour battery, and a sleeping Pocket does not use battery, it says.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's better than the old days of driving in the car and batteries are dying and having on a vacation and having to get new AA batteries and things, right?
Yeah.
So much more convenient today. Especially if you're doing Game Gear compared to the original Game Gear. This is a much nicer experience. That thing, yeah.
Is the Pocket battery serviceable? You have to get it serviced by them. Yeah. And it charges in about 4 to 5 hours with fast charge time.
Though they do sell the fast charging dock as well, which will do 2 hours.
2 hours, yes.
Yeah. With the separate fast charging power supply. Yeah.
And I'll skip through some of these.
Yeah, so it supports the multiplayer as you mentioned, and I mean, I just want to say the FPGA development that excites me. The approach, so what I was meaning about hitting this all in the right points on a design form factor, beautiful, but also on the hardware level, beautiful. And what they're doing with the FPGA technology is just really cool. Getting it close to the original hardware using this technique and just having it like a real, much more authentic experience. And there's plenty of other content, other people covering this hands-on on YouTube here. And I did watch one, I think it was Vintage Modern Gamer. I can't remember his name. He was trying to find, I'll try to maybe leave a link later to his video because I thought it was helpful. He was trying to find a game that broke it. He was trying to find something that would, thank you, Modern Vintage Gamer. Yeah, MVG. He did review it, and he was trying to break it. He was playing all kinds of games, and the only thing he could find, if I recall, was the one game, Ashante or something it's called. And it was just, there was the one music track, the snare or something held a little bit longer than the original. Like there was just a little slight difference in this one song, but he knew the game well, so he could hear the difference. Okay. Other than that, he was hard pressed to find anything that was different. And even that little change of the snare drum in that song for that game could be fixed with an update later on with the software firmware update. So other than that, he was trying to break it. He was trying to find some kind of game. Oh, he made the Switch port of Sean. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense now. Thanks, Panzu. Yeah, you would want to be quite knowledgeable on it. See, I didn't know that. I've only come across his channel periodically and stuff and haven't followed. So that makes a lot of sense. So he did notice there was a slight difference in just the snare of like the chiptune song. That was it. Other than that, he couldn't really find it. He found it to be even there was one game that had like a complex drawing techniques that kind of more pushes the hardware of the Game Boy. It also ran, and it's just really cool. So, and it also Also, it supports Game Boy and the Game Boy Color modes. You can switch it to that, and it supports those games. And it's just cool. It's cool.
Cool.
So
why don't we get into our question of the day? And it's kind of a fun one. For me, anyway. Do you have any original Game Boy games kicking around? So you can leave a comment in the comment section if you do, what you have. Do you want to go first, Stephen?
I will. And it may be a no, but I borrowed Pokemon Red from my friend like 20 years ago.
And you still have it?
It never made it back to him.
And now you can sell it for and probably buy this console.
It's like, I was like, sorry, Jordan, I took your game. No, he lent it to me. And I think I had tried it years ago to see if it still worked. And I think it was dead. It wasn't working. So I may have thrown it out. But that may have been, other than that, I may not have any more Game Boy games. But I know you do.
I have a few other put away. I dug through one drawer and I'm like, hey, what's that? And it's probably the worst game ever. Football. It's play action football for the Game Boy. I do have that there. I know I have probably a copy of Tetris or two. There's probably a few more kicking around in a bin that haven't been pulled out in a while.
What I want to know about that game, though, does it have like the terrible voices, like first down? And it has like the crackly.
Honestly, it's been years since I played this. I just found it in my drawer right before we did this. So
one of my favorite things from NES kind of era of gaming and sports games is the crowd, how they simulate the crowd noises, the cheering. I don't know, that's nostalgic for me. I don't know how to simulate it, but so anyway.
Panzu has a few: Pokemon Red, Yellow, Pinball, Mystic Quest, and that's about it. Awesome.
So. And Benji has Pokemon Yellow, and Chris, you nerds, you Pokemon nerds, look at you guys.
A few Zelda games and a bunch of Game Boy Advance games. Awesome. Yeah, it'll be again, Benji, when you get yours, leave us a comment of how you're enjoying it. So that's about it for our main show. We'll stick around here and chat with you guys for a little bit if you like. If you haven't heard before, when we hit 100 subscribers, we are going to be updating to 1080p streaming. So make sure you like and subscribe, and we'd love to have you continue to join us on a mostly weekly basis. So thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to stick around for a little bit because we're going to cut that original portion and use it for a video here on our channel. But any other questions from you guys? Panzu, Benji, if you just want to sit and drink coffee with us, we'd love to to do that. Good morning. So Benji, really want a copy of Minish Cap to play on the Pocket. Cool. I haven't played that one.
I couldn't. I was mixed about Minish Cap. It looks good. It's solid, but it was more linear than the other Zeldas.
Okay.
So, but it looks really good. So, Benji, neither of us have ordered the Pocket yet. And you're asking when y'all. I haven't ordered it.
I honestly, Steven just sent this link to me yesterday, and I thought it was really cool. I didn't even know it was coming out, so I am considering ordering one for sure. Yeah. I think it's really cool. So,
and I'm considering ordering one in the new year. I can't justify it at the moment, but I think in the new year, something that I would be kind of excited for about the. If somebody made it compatible with the Commodore 64, if I was able to sideload Commodore 64 stuff on there, that gets me excited.
Well, you do have a Commodore 64 behind your head.
I do. Let's see if I can point at it. There's my Commodore back there in the corner. It's blurry, but yes, hooked up to a little TV. And so if they had it work with the Commodore 64 and I could then sideload Commodore 64 programs into it in games, that would be cool. So so that's what I'm excited about.
Now I'm sad stuff. I sold my Commodore 64 back in the day.
You had one?
I had one, yeah. So I had the drive too, the big disk drive with the floppy disks.
I don't have a disk drive.
Yeah.
I'm on the lookout for one. So
I had a VIC 20 as well.
you were just ahead of me in age though, so you got those things. I missed it. So I'm catching up now.
So, yeah, it was a good old times when you'd like get the little magazine from the library that would tell you how to like code a game and stuff.
Yeah. Yes, I got some of those here. Yeah, Panzu, you're saying, do we need a keyboard for C64 games? Yeah. I still like to find a
you
way.
could use plug in an Atari controller on the side, could you not?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure I plugged in like an Atari or a Coleco controller on the side of my
But did
Commodore
you have
64.
to, how would you, like, I'm still really dumb with Commodore stuff. How would you load the game? You would need to load it. I mean, if you had that all.
Oh, I thought that was to play the game. Sorry, I might be mistaken.
Yeah,
You
but
needed the keyboard to. You put the disc in, and then you
yeah.
use the keyboard and load the game, and then you could play it with like an Atari controller, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if somebody was able to get it set up where it would like auto load the game or something, like this is where I just don't know enough about.
Yeah, so you definitely need the keyboard to load it for sure. But there was, I believe, controller support on the side.
Is it just N64 and PC? No. Commodore 64 is well before the N64. It came out in 1982. It's a 1 megahertz processor with hardware sprite support. So kind of like how the NES has hardware sprite support, this had sprite support with a 1 megahertz core. That's why I like it, because it's like the bare minimum of like somewhat decent gaming. Yeah. So just give some perspective. The N64 is a 66 megahertz core, released in 95, 96. And yes, this is the Commodore 64.
So that's what the Commodore 64 looked like, and
Yes.
then this one here, you can see it up in the top right hand corner. There's a disk drive up here.
Yes.
And they even had a Commodore 64 monitor like that.
I considered buying one when I was in your city. There was a guy selling one, but yeah, anyway, it's okay. Yeah, Panzu, you mentioned the Mister for things like Commodore and that. You're probably right. That'd be a better fit. I was just thinking, it wouldn't surprise me still if somebody is going to try to make it even if you shouldn't, doesn't mean people won't try. It's like if somebody comes out with Commodore 64 support for the Pocket, I'm not saying it's a good idea. It could be a bad idea, but I think you're right. I think the Mister and that would be a better fit. Instead of
Yeah. What games do you have for your Commodore 64? I don't know how this turned into a Commodore 64 talk, but what games do you have? Or do you have any games?
For the Commodore 64?
Yeah.
I don't have any games for it yet. I still need a disk drive. So I just got into it more in the last couple of years, and I haven't put in the time yet to fully dive into it. So it's still new to me. But I don't have a disk drive. So my experience so far is just teaching myself how to program in BASIC so far. I have some manuals and stuff. So at this point, if I want a game, I have to program it. That's kind of the state of it. So I need to go find some old magazines with old games in it and type them in for an afternoon, and then
then you can play them.
Yeah.
Trying to think what I used to play. I feel like there was. I feel like I played Paperboy, and I feel like there was Pitfall. Maybe I could be wrong on that one.
I'm not sure.
There's some, and now I'm getting Atari and Commodore 64 mixed up, because I know I had Pitfall and E.T. for the Atari.
Yeah, that was Atari. Yeah.
That amazing game.
Yeah, and I recall you telling me how you like that game.
Which is funny, isn't it supposed to be one of the worst games ever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that. Don't worry about the reviews.
It's
They're
all
not
about
always
if you
accurate.
like the games or not. So awesome. Any other thoughts there from those of you watching out there? Otherwise, we're going to wrap things up.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, guys. It's been great
Yeah,
to
we
have
appreciate it.
some
Best
time
game
to
ever.
chit
Is
chat.
that referring to ET there, Ben? Benji?
Do you disagree, Benji? You're not.
Actually, I believe I had an Indiana Jones game as well for the Atari. It might have been like,
Wow.
I don't know if it was Temple of Doom or
Yeah.
if it maybe was Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But
Temple of Doom
yeah.
sounds about right.
I could be wrong, but it was, or maybe it was Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know. That was a good game.
I didn't like those.
So, hey, frogs and flies. That was fun too. So
That one's better.
So awesome. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Until next time, we're not sure what we're going to be doing over the Christmas season, but we'll try and squeeze one in before Christmas, and then we'll probably be looking at the new year after that. So thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, take care and talk to you later.